Welcome to the Sober Edge podcast, inspiration for alcohol-free living. I'm your host, Teri Patterson, functional nutritionist and This Naked Mind senior coach. The Sober Edge is a place to explore the infinite possibilities on the other side of drinking. In a culture soaked in booze, discover the wonder and joy of taking a different path. Meet real people living lives of purpose and passion, learn the truth behind the alcohol myths, and get ready to be motivated, inspired, and astounded by what is possible with the Sober Edge. Well, hey everyone, it's Teri back with another edition of the Sober Edge podcast. And once again, delighted to be with you. And thank you for being with me in this year of 2025. This was the first year that I switched my weekly podcast to bi-weekly. As many of you know, I have been working full-time for alcohol-free lifestyles, supporting their members and doing lots and lots of coaching. I also took advantage of 2025 and received a new certification in nervous system regulation, a trauma-informed nervous system regulation certification. So I have been quite busy, and it's been amazing to still be able to connect with you every other week and bring this podcast that is coming so close to 200 episodes. So I have lots to celebrate this year, and I hope you do as well. I wanted to share a couple of things as we look at what we really bring with us into the new year. And so, this idea of showing up differently and bringing our whole self in without forcing it, fixing it, or over planning. I, as a business coach and as an entrepreneur, get a lot of how to wrap up the year or how to start the year. And at the end of this podcast and in the show notes, I will share that I do have a free offer for my community to come together on Sunday, January 4th, and do 26 for 26. This is a community offering that this is the third year I've offered it, and I would love to invite you in. And we're going to do things a little differently during that time together. So if you're interested in that, grab your registration link in the show notes, and we will come together and have some fun, laughter, and start to meet the new year with intention. But what I want to talk about today is that, December 31st often feels psychologically loaded. We have so much happening in our bodies, our nervous system, and our minds can be racing from everything we're trying to get back on track after the long holiday season. And we come into December 31st maybe thinking we have to have it all planned out. And so I want to talk about what if this isn't changing who we are, but it's about seeing who we already are with more clarity. One of the things in my nervous system course that I've been really focusing on is how the brain anticipates future change. So we have a brain that is wired for prediction. And sometimes that means that we are throwing out prediction errors. This is why it's powerful to remind ourselves that we don't always have to believe everything we think, because sometimes this is actually a prediction error. So we have prediction and patterning versus actual behavior change. So what can happen is we get caught in that place between understanding how to create change and then the actual behavior. And we default to the same patterns unless we are very intentional. And the nervous system responds to anticipation, stress, and reward differently than our thinking brain responds, or even than our emotions respond. And so change can feel like it should start on January 1st, but the brain doesn't actually reset on a calendar date. And we know this, right? And so I want to talk about the difference between our outcome goals, our identity based goals, and then how we actually build the scaffolding, the connection between the two. And so there's this beautiful idea of being able to reframe what we want to bring into the new year. And it's very similar in some ways to the way I've talked in the past about how we create a new identity as an alcohol free individual. And we are bringing some of our old self into that new identity. We're bringing some of our new self and we're blending the two. I like to think of it as if you are the curator of your life, just like a curator in a museum looks at the shelf and maybe starts with a clear shelf and then chooses what to bring into your life, chooses what to place on the shelf. And so we get to do the same at the shift of the new year. We get to assess what we want to actually bring forward from this past year. And we also want to be mindful to leave some space on the shelves that we can bring in new creations, new identities, new understandings, new awareness. And this is where it becomes really beautiful and very much connected to our alcohol free life. And so it's not what you hope to do in 2026, it's who you're becoming based on how you're living today. And this is one of my favorite parts of exploring the things that open up for us after we stop drinking alcohol. With alcohol out of the way, we're actually showing up for our real life. And so this becoming and unbecoming is part of this. And so it's really powerful to consider, what truth about myself do I already want to keep without changing it, fixing it, or editing it. And I invite you to just consider that for a moment. What truth about myself do I already want to keep without changing it, fixing it, or editing it? And then part of what this is understanding that this version of me has been created from all of my past experiences. And I have a lot of wisdom in the years that I've lived, whether you're 25, 45, or 65. You have skills, resilience, wounds that give you information. You have learned nervous system patterns. You have created habits that truly matter versus the ones you should adopt. And so you actually have the very scaffolding you need to go from where you are now and what you want to hold on to, what you want to place on the shelf in your very own life museum. You have that ability to connect. I want to start again in 2026, focusing on X, whatever that might be. What about your experience this year actually strengthened you? Where did you grow? What did you learn? And if I think about all the things I learned this year, I want to bring that forward. And there might be some things I want to refine or hone or tweak, but ultimately I want to recognize the beauty of my evolution. And that really is the root of identity, right? Evolving. And just like I used to be someone who drank, I used to drink. That was a past version of me. And as I evolve, I get to carry forward the new truth, the new identity, the new patterns, the new habits, behaviors, thoughts. Isn't that cool? And what I love about it is that this honors our alcohol free life without adding any pressure. I recall that the first time I heard New Year, New You, I thought, oh, that's amazing. But I now embrace that with more subtlety because not everything about the new year needs to involve a new me. In fact, I want to be solid and grounded in the truth of who I am at this moment and carry it with me into 2026. And that will give me roots from which to grow. If you think about a plant in nature, until it has roots, it can't grow. And so I want to honor the roots that I have created in 2025 and carry those into 2026. And so, I want to help you perhaps reframe what it means to be a new version of you in 2026. And I want to honor the wisdom and the hard-earned lessons and truths. Maybe you had a loss, a deep loss this year, and it feels like I want to be free of that in 2026. But I believe the true gift is carrying the lessons from that loss with us into 2026 so that we are this tapestry of emotions and patterns and teachings and wisdom and knowledge and beauty. Perhaps you had a pivotal experience this year that changed you. Maybe it was an encounter with the divine. Perhaps it was a spark of a new relationship, a friendship, a romantic interest. Perhaps it was you finally turning the page and leaving alcohol in the past. And there is so much to bring into the new year. So we get to be this beautiful blend of not new you, but enhanced you, enriched you, a vibrant version of you that connects the past and the future. So as you move into this first few days of 2026, I invite you to consider what you're bringing with you and how you don't need an entirely new version of you. It doesn't serve us to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We can sieve and glean and sift through the treasures, even the hard ones of 2025, and carry them close to our heart as we move into this new year and invite our past, present, and future to commingle in a beautiful recognition of day by day. We're going to build on this life that we have created and are creating throughout 2026. So I get so excited to think about what's possible and what's ahead. And I see so much for each of you, opportunity and possibility and growth and recommitment to the core values that have brought you this far. So I hope this feels resonant with you and that you will have an opportunity to consider, what do I want to curate in my life now? What can I carry forward? What do I want to leave behind? What do I want to create? Where do I want to double down on this beautiful version of me? And that way, we have this cohesive through line that doesn't minimize all of the lessons and even the pain and the scars and the wounds from 2025, but instead allows us to zoom out a little bit and with new perspective, appreciate all of the versions of us and how we have evolved to this moment. So again, if you want to join me in 26 for 26, we're going to do a beautiful New Year trifecta where we're going to focus on 3 areas of intention and attention. And we do this in community. It's about a 75-minute call. There's no charge. It's just my gift to you for being part of my audience and community. And I love to do this workshop because it helps us laugh together, reflect together, dream together, explore together. And when we do it in community, it becomes a rich blessing. So I hope you'll join me on January 4th. Again, your registration link is in the show notes. And I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful moment of pause and reflection as you consider the lessons that you have learned in 2025 and the possibility and hopefulness of 2026. Thanks again for being with me. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Take care. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Sober Edge podcast. This is a place for important conversations and a safe place to question everything you thought you knew about drinking. If you're looking for your sober edge, I want to invite you to connect with me at thesobernutritionist.com, where you can grab my free resource, Becoming More, a guide to loving your sober life. And I would be so grateful if you enjoyed this podcast, if you would leave a rating and review, as it will help more people find their sober edge.